What is up, YouTube? Guys, Jericho426 coming at you with another Marvel Contest of Champions video. It is the day, guys, the day that Odin gets both of his Ravens. He got buffed, I should say. Odin got his long-awaited buff. But I gotta say, is it worthwhile? You know what? I really do think so. This guy absolutely slaps now, and so they increased his damage numbers on his special 2. That's the big thing. They increased the duration of a lot of his buffs, and a lot of his buffs, and they changed his Odin sleep perk buff, whatever you want to call it. Before, he was getting armor up and fury buffs whenever he was Odin slept, whenever he was well rested. And now, he gets them all the time. So the armor up and the fury buff is always there. It doesn't matter if he has Odin slept or he's Odin sleepy. So when he is Odin sleepy, is that what we're going to call it now? When he's Odin sleepy, in his every other fight, I guess, if you use him every other fight, he still has those buffs, but in the times that he's Odin slept, when he's well rested, he will have a aptitude buff added into an aptitude buff. What is this grammar? An aptitude buff added into his buff pool, as it were. So today we are going to show you the best damage rotation. We're going to also look at some different damage comparisons, whether he's Odin sleepy or Odin slept. And then we're going to show you some different ways to max out that damage as well. I will be updating my other full Odin guide at some point. Might be a week or so, might be a little bit longer. For the most part, that guide will get everyone through. But this will be your kind of definitive damage rotation guide. Got a couple other guides I want to put out there first before I get back to Odin. So anyway, guys, enjoy the gameplay. Let me know down in the comments, do you like this new Odin buff? Is he slapping for you like he's slapping for me? Because he is absolutely hitting like a truck, guys. Anyway, enjoy it. Catch you next time. Guys, let's first talk about some synergies to add into the All-Father to help him out with Mephisto in the group. He will gain a 5% attack rating for every living member of the group. With the Angela Heimdall synergy, anytime he dashes back and holds block, he will grab a fury buff. And then also with the Heimdall Odin synergy, anytime he dashes back and holds block, he will also grab a perfect block chance buff. And so we're going to add these into our buff pool as we get ready to do our maximum damage. So first we are going to talk about how to get to that maximum damage potential, and then we'll come back and look at some damage numbers. So we're going to utilize his Odin Force charges. Remember, Odin Force charges are gained anytime either Odin is knocked down or the opponent is knocked down. Once you have 2 Odin Force charges, as denoted by that little yellow spear symbol up top, the next either heavy attack or special attack will give him not only a buff, but an extra buff as well. So you always want to make sure you're throwing your special attacks when you have that Odin Force charge. Now, the real way to gain the maximum amount of damage with Odin is to use his special 2 with the maximum number of unique buffs that you can grab as possible. For every unique buff on Odin, and you're about to see his first special 2 here, so on the last hit of his special 2, he will deal a burst of direct damage for each unique buff currently on him. Each of these will deal 2.75% of the opponent's max health. These do cap, and of course, the more health the opponent has, and the more buffs that Odin has at the time, the more damage he is going to do. Remember also that while Odin has increased duration on these buffs, as long as Odin is standing within striking distance of the opponent, all of the buffs on him are paused. So how are we going to gain all of these buffs to do our maximum damage? Well, I usually start out by throwing 3 heavy strikes at the beginning of the fight. The heavy strikes will give you an energized buff, not to mention once you hit that third one and you have the Odin Force charge, you're actually going to multiply those energized charges, as you can see up top in the purple there, and have more energized charges. This is going to make your combat power rate increase quite a bit, making it faster to get to your specials. Then you're going to go for your special 1. You're going to make sure that you have your Odin Force charges ready, and then when you use your special 1, you're going to gain a True Strike buff, and with the Odin Force charge, you're going to gain a Bulwark buff. At this point, you can make your way to your special 2 if you would like, and use the special 2 to do some pretty gnarly damage. But if you want to maximize your damage, you will want to throw that special 3 first. The special 3, you will actually make a copy of all buffs on Odin. Again, those copies won't add to the damage, but he will also gain an extend buff as long as you throw the special 3 with the Odin Force charge. So he'll gain an extend buff, giving him 1 more buff. So without any other synergies, this is going to be the maximum amount of damage you can do with Odin using that special 2, which is about 20 to 25% health. We're going to look at the damage numbers here in a second. If, though, you do have other synergies, as you'll see just in a little bit, you can actually multiply that damage by quite a bit just by having 2 extra buffs on there. So let's ready our Odin Force charges, then we're going to throw that next special 2, look at the damage numbers, and then we'll also look at his Odin Sleepy damage numbers as well. So let's take a look at this first special 2 using the last fight. You can see he's going to initially hit for about 3,300, and then he's going to hit for about 7,000 plus 90,000 of that burst damage. So overall, his damage with that special 2 before using the special 3 was around 100,000 damage. Now let's look at his second special 2 we used after gaining that extend buff from the special 3. He's going to initially hit for about 5,200, then he's going to hit for around 12,000, and then 105,000 in burst damage. He is gaining about 22,000 extra damage just from that extend buff being added on. Alright guys, now let's look at his maximum damage potential here, at least what we've found so far. We're going to use that extend buff. We are also going to include his synergies in this. Remember the Heimdall and the Fury synergy from Angela. Now we are going to wait to throw these until right when we're about to use the special 2. That's because even though the Fury from Angela will last longer, the Heimdall perfect block buff is only very short-lived. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to gain our special 2, then we're going to back up. We're going to grab here, and then we are going to throw that special 2 for... Boom! Look at that damage, guys. Holy cow. Looking at those damage numbers again, guys, his initial hit hits for around 9,000, then 21,000, then 120,000, guys. Just by adding on those 2 extra buffs, we are going from our special 2 damage of 100,000 to over 150,000 damage for that one special 2. Like I said, guys, this Odin absolutely smacks. Finally, guys, we are going to look at Odin when he is Odin Sleepy. So when he does not have his Odin Sleep buff and he does not have his aptitude buff. Like I said, he can still do a fair amount of damage now. He's not useless anymore like he was before. We're still going to go through the same flow. We're going to gain our Odin Force charges. We're going to use our heavy, our special 1. And then we will go for that special 2 damage and compare that to our original damage here. Now, I don't do nearly as well in this fight against Captain Marvel. I don't know what I was doing. I was absolutely slacking, but you can see my health's already down. She gets down a little bit lower here in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and throw our special 2, 3,000 here, and then hitting for around 75. So overall, she does a little bit over 80,000 damage. So if you remember from our first special 2 without throwing our special 3 to gain the extend buff, we were hitting for around 100,000 damage at its base. Now, without that aptitude buff from the Odin Sleep, you're hitting for around a little over 80,000. So there's definitely a decrease in the amount of damage that you're going to see, and quite a bit, I would say. But still, it's still hitting fairly hard. You're doing about maybe 12 to 15% of their overall health. We're going to throw it again. Let's see if we get any better numbers. Yeah, a little bit better on that one. So we got just around 100,000 using those extra buffs from our synergies with Angela and Heimdall. So you can increase and you can get up to those kind of standard numbers from before, but you're never going to quite get to those big numbers if you have that aptitude buff on Odin from his Odin Sleep. We're going to throw one more special 2 after we get this extend buff from the special 3, just so you guys can see the damage potential. This Odin buff is absolutely fantastic. He absolutely smacks. He's a Mack truck now, guys, and I absolutely love him. So super excited to play Odin more. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate your time. We are almost at 100 subscribers. I'm super excited. Thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. Please, if you're enjoying our content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be putting out some more guides guide soon, and on all the new buff champions and the new champions coming out. So appreciate you guys so much. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday.